Unfortunately, the faith of the doctors or the healthcare workers in Gaza, it's between these options that I've mentioned. Maisara, he's still under the rubble. Abdullah al-Badri, he has been killed with his brother Hashim al-Badri. Hani al-Haytham, Dr. Hani al-Haytham, he has been killed with his wife and family. Dr. Mus'ab Sam'an, he's still in the prison. We know nothing about him. And the other doctors are still in the north, on the south of Gaza. They are in a very hard condition, starving with their families and working like 24 hours per 7 in a very limited resources. This is the only options that the healthcare workers in Gaza have. During that time there was a connection cutting or communication cutting, so I wasn't able to contact my family to know what their condition is. I've tried to call hospitals when the connections allow me to ask these hospitals in the south if these names came into the hospital, even as an injured casualties, or even if they have been killed. I'm giving the name of my daughter and my wife and asking them if they have received these names. This is the only way that I make sure that my wife or daughter hasn't been killed or injured by approaching these hospitals in the south. This 9-year-old girl, she came in with the shrapnels all over her face. She's not able to open her eyes. And when I was treating her, she asked me to come closer to her. I came in closer to her and she asked me, Doctor, am I in heaven? I said, no. Why are you asking these questions? She said, because my mom told me if we have been attacked in our home, we will go directly to heaven. And she told me that heaven is a very nice, cozy, calm place. But this place is, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of people shouting around me and screaming. I'm not sure if my mom told me the truth or not. I told her, your mom told you the truth. If we have been killed, we will go to the heaven, which is a very nice, cozy, calm place. But this is the hospital. Unfortunately, a few hours later, she went to the heaven that her mom told her about, which is the nice place.
I have been in Gaza in the Shohada Al-Aqsa Hospital in April 2024, and I returned in October to November for a month, and this time I was based at the Nasser Medical Complex. I was devastated to see that my colleagues and my friends on the ground in Gaza had become completely emaciated. They were so thin, so thin. Um, the situation is far worse than I remembered it, even in April. And when I left in April, I thought, I can't imagine how things can get any worse. Sadly, they have. The amount of aid getting in seems to be even less than it was previously. Basic necessities are still not available. Within the hospital, equipment is so scanty and so hit and miss as to what might be available and for any given emergency. There's still a severe shortage of gowns, of surgical gowns, of surgical drapes. Sometimes we are cutting up gowns in order to create drapes in order to keep a patient sterile, and sometimes there are such few gowns that we have to wait before we can do an operation in order to wait until the gowns we've last used have been re-sterilized before we can go again. There have been occasions that my colleagues have operated without any sort of sterile clothing, just in gloves, because of the complete lack of equipment that is available. And this is devastating. I cannot imagine what is going on in the north. Based in this most recent trip, I was based within the humanitarian zone. In my last 2 weeks in Gaza, we averaged more than one mass casualty a day. This is in the green zone. This is in the humanitarian zone. So I cannot begin to imagine how bad things are in the north.